right, let's jump into the news here. All right, so first of all, we're going to start with repeating a piece of news from last week just because Mr. Buonocore threatened to cry if we didn't let him say something about it.
Completely untrue again, of course. Thank you, Tom, for another
Here's the deal,
lie.
Mr. Buonocore.
So,
is this even news at this point? I know that you made a big deal,
yes.
but they haven't sold it, so it's not news yet. It's pre-news.
Yeah. No, it's actually news on a number of levels, and you can start with the fact that the company is now being valued at 2 billion euros for Americans, 2.2 million US dollar. I mean, that is a staggering number, especially considering the fact that it only 3 years ago sold for sorry, I don't have it in my head right now, $1.5 million. And then only 4 years before that, 5 years before that, it was $150 million. So the valuation story of this company is unbelievable. So you can start with
but aren't
that.
they just buying other
Second of all,
companies?
now
That's the valuation?
No, the accretive value, business terms, the accretive value that they have achieved by adding companies, they are taking those companies and bringing them to a whole nother level, an entirely another level. If you added up what they paid, of course, for all those companies, or what the value of those companies were at the time, it doesn't even come close to what this current valuation is. But that's only part of the story. The other part of the story is that they have engaged, and Goldman Sachs has agreed to be part of this. They've engaged Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs is the largest investment bank on the planet. They do the biggest deals on the planet. They will have a buyer for Asmodee in very short order. In fact, they probably, as of when this news came out, they probably have several that they were already speaking to on behalf of Asmodee. So it's a huge story that we in this industry, we keep calling this cottage industry, now have a $2 billion company. There are companies that trade on the New York Stock Exchange that don't have a valuation of 2 billion euro, $2.2 billion. It's a major story, and sure, once it gets sold, that's actually going to be almost a non-story at that point, because it's going to be sold to a company most likely that neither you or I have ever heard of. Currently, it's owned by PAI Partners. Before that, it was owned by Eurazeo, the capital funds that hold many companies.
I know what he's even saying.
And the normal thing to do for a venture capital fund is to buy a company, hold on for a while, make that company get higher in value, and then sell it. This is a normal course of business for venture capital funds. So we're going to go to, it's going to go to another, most likely, privately held venture capital fund or other conglomerate that picks up privately held companies. But obviously now, at this kind of valuation, they need a big player to broker the deal between PAI and the purchaser. So I think this is a bigger news actually than when it finally does get sold. That's where I
have a question.
Yep.
Is that your real phone?
That's beautiful. I owned one of those, and no, I don't know. Kudos to Mike for putting this slide together. I'm sure he was behind this nonsense.
Okay.
Anyway, so I think this is huge news. So again, our little tiny little baby industry is become just
you should stop
tremendous,
calling it
amazing.
tiny baby industry. Board games have been around
No,
years. Hasbro's been out there. It's not like we're a baby industry.
When Hasbro doesn't count. Let's start with that. I mean, that's not. I mean, yes, now they don't count as part of what we all do. Yeah, as being integral to their success, right? They even call it they call it they call it Magic the Gathering in electronics? I mean, they have D&D and they have Magic, which of course are huge. But to the core business of what we all do and love, it's, Asmodee is the 800-pound gorilla, and then we have all of us other
Maybe.
the
My
smaller
argument
players in
against
the industry.
that would be that Catan and Spot It and many of the other major properties that Asmodee hold are essentially equivalent to the mass market games Hasbro does. So I don't really see that there's much of a difference anymore. What's the difference? Yes, Asmodee owns some very strong gaming-oriented companies like Fantasy Flight, but Hasbro owns Avalon Hill and Wizards of the Coast.
That's two huge IPs. Absolutely. There's still a very big difference in the business models. And if Hasbro had any brains, they would have bought Asmodee for the $150 million valuation it was 10 years ago, seeing what they were doing. But
Hasbro buying
is
Asmodee? You heard it here
I
first,
did.
folks. Breaking news. Hasbro to purchase Asmodee as per Podfather legend
Got
Stephen
it.
Buonocore.
By the way, folks, Mr. Buonocore is in the beginning stages of witness protection, which would explain the bad internet coming from his holding cell currently. All right, in news no one cares about, Alice Cooper has officially approved.
Yeah, this is great.
Alice Cooper's Horror Box. This is, well, basically it's a trivia game about horror. So
Isn't it like, no, it's like Cards Against Humanity, right?
Yeah, it's like Cards.
Oh yeah, it's questions, answers, and dares.
Yeah, it's Cards Against Humanity.
It's when I saw this, I said this game is like 6 years late to take, to try to like compete with the Cards Against Humanity thing, which they have now basically locked up. And I wasn't a particular fan of Alice Cooper when I could have been a fan of Alice Cooper. So no, this has no
Wait,
interest.
you're not allowed to
whatsoever.
be now?
No.
No, I never thought he was all that.
I know, what you meant was I'm
for me,
old now. That's what you said. All right. Mickey and Friends are in Snack Shack Chaos. This is a new game coming from the Op. I think this is an interesting theme. It's one of the first non-mass market. Well, I mean, Op is pretty close to mass market anyway, but there's not a lot of Disney-themed games that are not just like roll a die and move around a track.
Yeah. This looks cute. 3 to 5 players, ages 6 and up. 15 minutes to play. A cute little food fight. Yeah, it's nice to be able to have this kind of thing and give it as a gift to the kids in your life, knowing. I don't know the game. I haven't played it, but knowing it has a better chance of being a decent game rather than some badly produced drag that just slaps Mickey Mouse on there.
If you like games with gimmicks that are actually usually pretty good games, Zoc Verlag is definitely that company. So they've announced their 3 games that are coming out at the Spiel in a month. Well, a few weeks actually. The first is Strand Unter, which looks like the tide is coming in on the beach. And from this picture, it looks like you're pulling this cloth or something onto the box to represent the tide coming in.
Yeah, I don't know. There's quite a bit of cardboard on that table. Also, it seems like players have little fans to select something. There's a bag. It looks like a bag with tokens, but yeah, I'm assuming either you pull back on the water or you pull back on the sand and more of the water is showing. Looks cute.
Yeah, I would play this.
I blew up the board. If you blow it up, you can see that the water, you're going to drag it out, drag it closer and closer to the sand. Maybe it goes both directions, but it definitely is. The blue is getting bigger, obviously, as the tide is coming in. This looks adorable. What's the ages on this? Of course, Mike is
so it doesn't matter.
Doing all. Does it say on here? It doesn't say on here.
Oh no, it doesn't.
Anyway, so it's I mean, Zoc does adult games, so
they do sometimes.
Anyway,
yeah.
So it looks very interesting. I want to check this out.
The next set though is actually, it says, I think they are basically kids games. The Kings and Creatures and a couple other ones. It's a trio of games. This is a set collection game where you're trying to collect stuff. This one looks like it's geared towards kids, but then again, it might not be.
Yeah, this one doesn't look nearly as interesting to me. That last one looked like a cute, gimmicky game. It had little buckets, like sand buckets, for collecting your coins. Very cute. This looks like another card game with a dragon on the cover. Might be
But
good, but I'm not
the one
feeling
that's
it.
most interesting to me is
Yeah.
this next one, this Kip Mirsaras, where there's these dice towers of sort that you're dropping dice into. When they get heavy, they fall over and dump stuff out. And then
Oh,
you
wow.
grab it as fast as you can, I think.
Wow. I thought it was like
Grab it.
launching dice, but it's not. You're right. It's like a the little bird, drinking bird. You fill it up, and when it weighs
Yep.
too much, it flops over, huh?
I'm excited
Yep.
about this one.
Yep,
I
that's what it
want to
is.
play this one.
Okay, that looks cute.
So I
That
got
guy looks like you a
Very
little
cute.
bit, Tom, on the cover.
what? Thank you. Okay.
The hat.
That's you. Yeah,
That's
that's you right
red-
there.
that's red
Captain
Grandpa
Crunch.
Tom. That's Grandpa Tom right there.
All right. So I got a announcement from Restoration Games about Unmatched, and when I got it, they said a new licensing agreement, and I thought, oh, they're just basically Unmatched is gonna move to Mondo, and that's not the case. So Unmatched has been kind of half published by Renegade and half published by Mondo, but Mondo has been handling the licensed stuff, like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and Restoration has been doing the more public domain stuff, King Arthur, etc.
Right.
It's all under Restoration now. Mondo is going to be acting as the licensing agent to help get them the the licenses for the license stuff, but it's all going to be under the Restoration brand. So that
Okay.
seems cool.
I mean, that's a really behind the scenes kind of move, right? It doesn't affect the game, I think.
No,
It-
but
it-
it means there's going to be more.
It doesn't affect the games, but I think it's really cool to see companies playing to their strong suit, right? I mean, basically, Mondo's saying, okay, well, you're doing such a good job doing the games, just take care of them, and we'll just feed you good IPs. So I think this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool announcement.
All right, and
This one.
Ticket to Ride now is pink. It has had many colors. It has not had pink trains before. You can buy pink, and either all or some of the money is going to the Breast Cancer Research Foundation.
Right. So
Yeah,
I think
$2.
this is amazing. Yeah, on a $5 purchase. So people rail about Asmodee, a lot. They're the only kind of company that can do something as cool as this. On a $5 purchase, basically all of their revenue basically is going to breast cancer awareness. This is a great thing that a company of their scale can do. Kudos to them for doing this with their biggest or one of their biggest IPs. So very cool.
There's also enough stuff in this set that you can play it with both regular Ticket to Ride and with Europe. So it looks like you could play this in any of the sets.
Nice.
Right. Cool.
All right, Simon has acquired 2 little mice. The third one got killed by the butcher's wife. This is an Italian tabletop role-playing game studio. So I don't know what this means for Simon. They've made Broken Compass games, household RPG. Simon says they want to be more ambitious as they expand their RPG and story-based product lines, which means they're not rolling out. They could make board games based on these properties. Maybe, you don't know.
Right. Okay. I've never heard of Two Little Mice, and I've never heard of their games. So cool.
I was playing Patchwork the other day and thought, I wish this had a Halloween edition. Woo! It's true. So last year, I think it was last year, or it was 2 years ago, they came out with Patchwork Christmas edition.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a USA edition, I think. At one
like
point.
an Americana kind of edition. Yeah.
Right. As far as I could tell, it's the exact same game, just with different patterns. And instead of buttons in this one, it's eyeballs. So that I like. I think that's funny. You probably don't need this if you already have Patchwork, unless, of course, you want a Halloween-themed game. It's just kind of a weird crossover.
Okay.
Like at Halloween, I'm like, let's play something spooky. Ooh, Patchwork.
Yeah, they're milking this game for all it's worth. I guess it I don't know. Some games just
They got to reach that $2
ban.
billion valuation, man.
I guess
$2
so.
billion valuation. Do it.
All right. So then we go from Halloween to Christmas. Power Rangers. There's a Santaverse Heximus holiday pack. This is dumb. I don't know why. I almost took this out of the news, but I left
Who
it
is
in here.
Heximus?
He's Santa's arch.
Yeah, I was
cool.
I was gonna say, like, is that somebody I've missed when I was a kid? Is there a Heximus?
If he came to your house, you didn't have a Christmas. So
this is a really weird one. I can't even. I have no words for how crazy this is.
Well, let's not waste
watch
time
out.
on it.
Look at the Santa. I think it's the Santa on the.
Yeah, but that's
look at the Santa on the side of the box.
He's bringing it. Oh yeah, he looks kind of scary, right on the side. He's like giving you an evil grin. Is this a horror Power Rangers thing, Tom? This is a Halloween thing too.
Guys, we're talking too much about this. Moving on to the next thing.
Yes.
So Hideo Bar
It's horrible.
has released a couple card games over the past couple years that have done quite well. Spicy got a lot of love from various people, so they got a couple more coming. Blaze coming this month, and Animal Poker next month. So Blaze looks a little bit like Spicy. What's the other one that Hideo Bar did recently?
Anansi?
Yes. And they did Coyote. Coyote, the...
Right. Coyote, Anansi, and then Spicy, Blaze. Now, the animal one is the one that kind of sounds interesting to me. I'm not seeing it here.
That's the next slide. Animal Poker. It has a dog look with a very creepy smile. That's super creepy.
Okay, well, I'm not as interested anymore. That is a terrible cover.
I like the color schemes of both games. That's what I will say. The color schemes are.
They've been doing that for all of these games. Like Anansi has a really wild neon, vibe to it. I like these little kinds of card games. I don't know if I'll like this game, but I'm always happy to try these out.
All right, good news. Gen Con just announced their dates for next year, and they're back to normal, August 4th through the 7th. Yay! That way Mr. Buonocore doesn't have to go to 6 events in a row.
That's right.
Because September was the month of, Gen Con was 2 weeks ago. Origins is happening right now as we talk, and in 2 weeks is Essence Spiel. It's a crazy time. If you're a publisher going to all 3 of those, they're exhausted.
Yeah.
And I was going to go to all 3, but I had to just drop the 2. Anyway, I'm really excited about this. Gen Con coming back to normalcy. We hope they mention in this little piece here that they anticipate it to be non-masked as long as you're vaccinated. I like that. So we'll just got to see how this all plays out.
It's almost a year away.
Right. Exactly. 100%, but that's what they're saying. By the way, did you mention what the attendance was last week? You have it in here, and I heard this.
So they said 35,000.
So their attendance this year was yes, 35,000 people were there.
I will say, having been there, that number feels very accurate. It doesn't feel like they're padding it. It felt like there was 35,000 people there.
Yeah.
And
wow.
I don't know if you mentioned it last. Oh, that's right. You haven't mentioned it because you weren't on last week, right? So they made they did keep people separate to the extent that you can, and everybody was masked up. I felt very, very safe. They had brought the back wall in. We talked about this when we were there to give it and the side, right? They brought walls in to give it that more of that energy that you see, but it never crowded where you were in past, like in 2019, where you literally were pushing your arms in together to go touching people as you went past them, and did not have that, which was great. It had a great energy vibe without being crowded.
All righty. Well, that's exciting. Let's see what we got next. We have Crescent Moon. So this is really interesting. This game sounds pretty cool coming from Osprey. And the guy designed it, Stephen Mathers, said that he was citing Chaos in the Old World and Dune as his inspirations for this.
Wow.
We thought you would like this cover, Z.
I do like this cover. I haven't looked at these ahead of time. This is a gorgeous cover. I'm liking what Osprey Games has been doing lately. I like this vibe a lot. And Chaos in the Old World meets Dune. I can't picture those things together quite, but yeah, sounds neat. I'm interested in this. Very interested.
All righty. And then finally, well, I shouldn't say finally, but almost finally, we have some exciting news from Prospero Hall. They announced Jurassic World Legacy. That says the title might change, but basically it's going to talk about Jurassic Park and how it changes, etc. So I don't know. It sounds interesting.
Yeah.
I gotta say that this makes me smile. I mean, because Jurassic Park, the whole thing is a very interesting series of movies and IP. If you add a legacy, if you make a good game out of it, and you add a legacy thing on top of that, God only knows what could possibly happen, on the island, the Jurassic Park island. I kind of like this idea.
Alrighty.
That's cool.
Well, before we go off on the news here, we do want to talk a little bit here about Dice Tower East. So Dice Tower East is also happening next year, and also hopefully happening at normal times and in normal ways. It's going to happen July 6th through the 10th in 2022. We're sponsored by Portal Games, our Hot Games area sponsored by Board and Dice, and our VIP swag from Norse Foundry. So we're going to have our exhibitors there. We're going to have open gaming. We're at the Carib, which is a fantastic hotel. We're going to have plenty of spaces. A lot of people are already coming to Dice Tower East because your tickets were transferred from 2019. And we do appreciate that. But we're going to be opening registration for it for people who haven't been rolled over on October 27th, noon. So that's a little less than a month away, and we'll mention it more as time gets close. We're going to be the prices are going to be $125 for adults, $100 for kids. That's kids is 7 through 18. And there's still lots of tickets left to get and hotel reservations, but you're going to want to wait to do all this till October 27th. But we're going to be talking more about it. We have a big library. The library is only going to get bigger and better until that point. Mr. Buonocore, you've been at this hotel. I think it's a very good hotel, the Carib.
It's fantastic. The Carib is a resort hotel with multiple pools, multiple bars for those who care about things like that. It's a really, really nice atmosphere. I'd go as far as to say it's my favorite hotel that any convention is run at, and that's despite you, not because of you.
No, well, all joking aside, no, I think I agree, although I'm excited that Dice Tower West is at the Rio. That's going to be pretty neat. But yeah, if you're just going to hang out at the hotel.
Another excellent hotel in Las Vegas.
If you want to swim in the Carib, has a fantastic pool, a really nice area around the pool. You'll see the normal folks are swimming. Buonocore sitting next to the pool, deluging himself in alcohol, with his car off in the distance and looking at it every once in a while that he drinks.
What?
So,
Oh my
so anyhow, we'll be answering more questions in my next Q&A, which I'll be doing not this coming Monday, but the Monday after that. If you want to ask questions about the Dice Tower East, I'll talk about that. I should also mention, as we're talking about all this stuff, because it is exciting. We got the Dice Tower Retreat coming in just a little over a month, and it's at the same place in the Carib. Arcane Wonders sponsor. It's going to be fantastic. Dice Tower Cruise isn't too far away. Cruises are running right now, folks. They're running them. They seem to be doing well. They're doing things safely and everything. And we got our cruise. There's not many spots left. And because of that, in 2 weeks from this coming Monday, I'm shutting registration down because we need to make plans and stuff. So if you're thinking about coming on Dice Tower Cruise, do not delay. There's not many rooms left, and you want to get on board with that. So that's the news. Let's keep going.